hashtag stay woke.
Do you think he was uncomfortable sitting in front of a gay black guy? Hey, what happened?
That's a good question for Elon Musk. Quite frankly, what happened? I don't know.
Go yourself. Is that clear?
Ah yes, Don Lemon. The best representation of a journalist that you could ever find. A man of many talents. He's a scientist.
A lot of people have been asking about that, about black holes. Is it preposterous, you think, Mary?
A small black hole would suck in our entire universe, so we know it's not that.
A statistician.
Sexual assault in the United States, but it's not sexual assault in Sweden.
Incorrect.
It is now under the rape
That's
law.
not right.
A social justice warrior.
Because black people, if you really want to fix the problem, pull up your pants.
A nigger.
A true modern day intellectual.
What were the animal shapes?
Well, it's a lion, a hippo, and a camel.
Isn't that a rhino in the middle?
A rhino.
You
Or
don't
a
even know a hippo from a
Sorry,
rhino. You got no acuity, son. You got no
I'm looking at it
acuity.
backwards. I'm looking at it backwards.
After an unfortunate misunderstanding, where he pissed off his own team, he was unceremoniously fired.
Moving on.
Anyway, well, now moving on, because that's a big issue when it comes to the American. Hold on, please, with the music. That's a big issue when it comes to the American people. The American people are going to have to suffer through all of this stuff.
Recently, Don interviewed Elon Musk. Elon wanted to give Don a chance at a new career, and instead, he got a shit sandwich.
But you've admitted that you have a ketamine prescription.
Yeah.
What's that for?
Well, I mean, it's pretty private to ask somebody about a medical prescription, you know.
Needless to say, Don was prepared and had a plan. I know. I can get back into the good graces of my former friends if I shit on Elon. Brilliant. Don is known in the industry for his incredible intellect.
When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
So of course, his line of questioning is so blatantly obvious. I'll start off with some softball questions so I can catch him off guard. Don almost stuck to his plan, but couldn't help himself when his narcissism took over. He just had to make this Elon Musk interview about himself.
You didn't mean that I'm on the left? Did you think that?
I thought you were on the left, but
Yeah.
I don't know. My sense is you're sort of center left. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, did you ever watch me on CNN, or did you watch?
I saw segments.
For some reason, Don presses Elon at the weirdest moments, like here.
But CNN is generally considered left.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Why do I say CNN is generally considered left?
Elon states a basic fact, and Don has to act like it's somehow in question.
Am I missing something here?
Okay.
Don momentarily goes back to softball questions about Elon's new cars, and he asks Elon about the video games he plays. And Don has no idea what Elon is talking about.
I don't know video games. I just know that my great nephew loves Fortnite.
Also, Elon definitely doesn't have enough time to play games regularly.
I've played almost all the games over the years.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
But you know, Don's itching to get to the next part.
So that helps you relax, right? You post a lot of controversial stuff. Is that considered blowing off steam?
Got you, Elon. If that wasn't cringy enough, Don decides to push Elon on the Great Replacement, which is not what Elon talked about.
Well, you're conflating two things. One is great replacement theory. The other is, which I don't subscribe to that, but it is, in my view, a simple incentive to increase voters, Democrat voters.
But anyway, even after Elon explains what he's talking about, Don has to keep trying to associate words with violence, and that somehow, Elon is responsible for what crazies do.
The Great Replacement Theory is referenced by the Buffalo mass shooter in his manifesto, where 10 people, black people, were murdered in Buffalo. There's the actual title of the Christchurch Shooters Manifesto. 51 people in the Muslim mosque were murdered, 23 people murdered in El Paso by a shooter who used the same language that you use.
Don does some victim blaming.
If you moderated yourself more, that you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory.
Probably because of his storied history as a protector of women, but Elon poo-poos on the media and Don doesn't like that.
I don't think people should care what the media thinks about them. They're terrible judges of character.
So he brings out the studies in general
Don, you can get a study that will tell you whatever you want.
and shows some tweets to Elon. These are funny as fuck. Don claims that they can lead to violence. But if those make you violent, then you're probably a tard. I'm not sure how that's Elon's responsibility. Is it illegal though?
Are they illegal?
No, they're not illegal, but they're hateful and they can lead to violence.
This is where Don doesn't seem to understand. That freedom of speech means you get to see mean memes and might get your fifis hurt. He's just baffled at the idea of free speech even though he espouses to believe it wholeheartedly.
I believe in free speech as much as you.
What censorship so bad you can taste it?
The next world-shattering topic is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Don once again shows off his high IQ, where he doesn't realize the causal outcome of hiring based off group membership versus merit.
Wait, say that again? I'm not sure I understand what you said.
Don uses the favorite line of stunning and brave reporters. It's not happening.
What evidence do you have, though, that they're lowering the standards? There's no evidence of that.
And you know which line comes after that. It's happening, and it's a good thing. It's always how this goes. Let's have a look at some examples of DEI lowering standards. Here we have it in medical schools. Here we have it in the military. And here we have it in the aviation industry. Don refuses to believe any of it. Apparently he doesn't have the ability to search anything on his computer. Next, they move on to whether society should be colorblind.
Well, if we keep talking about it non-stop, it will never go away.
Why do you believe that?
I think I'm just making a simple statement of fact.
I know that it's an issue, but it seems like every single day on television I'm talking about race, and it's because of the news cycle, it's in the news, but sometimes I get so tired of talking about it. I want to just go, this is over, can we move on?
And if you talk about it, it exists.
Right.
And Don uses his full brain power to not understand anything again, especially about slavery, a phenomenon which is probably older than humanity.
Everyone was a slave. Everyone.
Yes. Well, not everyone was a slave.
No,
but
everyone was a slave.
Okay, but
was it more recent or less recent? That's it.
And Don smoothly transitions into why advertisers don't want to advertise on X. Elon explains that they can't request him to take down content which their ads don't appear next to. This makes Don forget the conversation they had 20 minutes ago where Elon explained his stance on free speech.
I acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First Amendment. And I'm going to stick to that. And if that means making less money, so be it.
Once again, Don is bewildered that anyone could actually believe in free speech. It's quite embarrassing that journalists today seem less and less likely to support absolute free speech. I have a feeling that it has something to do with their dwindling power to control the narrative. They long for the days where they were the only ones in between the event and the audience. But today their power is slipping and the audience can see exactly what is happening without their input. So even though Don Lemon wants to run into a burning house,
this is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly.
And even though none of the reporters really like him, he's just the first example of what will happen over time as corporate media dies.
Don Lemon full of